Good afternoon and welcome to the September 1st, 2015 Port Commission meeting. We opened the public meeting and we immediately recessed to an executive session. We'll now close that executive session and reconvene the public meeting. And the first item on the agenda is roll call. Let the record show that all three commissioners are present. Our next item is a public comment period. Do we have anyone?
No one has signed up, Commissioner.
Is there anyone that didn't know you should sign up that wants to speak? Seeing none, we'll move to our consent agenda. In front of you, gentlemen, is our consent agenda. Either one of you have any comments or questions on the consent agenda? No. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. Next action item is on facilities. If you could please read the next item, Lindsay.
A motion to authorize the Executive Director to execute Amendment Number 8 to the Professional Services Agreement with Kennedy Jenks Consultants to perform facility programming and construction estimating for the conversion of the rail span pier of the Bellingham Shipping Terminal stormwater and the amount of $23,000 for a total authorized amount of $249,704.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Adam Fulton, Facilities Director. This project the Commission has heard of over the past several months. We've brought the steps of the PSA to you incrementally, and this is all to do with the redevelopment of this section I show here at the Bellingham Shipping Terminal in the shape there. There's two aspects to this the Commission might recall. One is our stormwater planning, and the other is our actually planning of the facility to get it back into a usable status, revenue producing. And this PSA amendment is all to do with the programming and estimating. Let me show you. Thank you, sir. Of this facility right here, which we call the rail transfer span and the chemical pier. What the work will be involved is there's two things we're going to do. One is the actual programming that says here are the barges that can actually fit there, the water depths support it, and then what do we actually need to do to all the structures in that area to host a barge, and then third, a very good cost estimate that we can use for our 2016 capital budget process. That is the work. It's a $23,000 amendment to Kennedy Jenks. Do the commissioners have any questions?
Gentlemen?
The only question I've got on this one, Adam, is the discussion in context with the yacht club, I guess I should say the sailing organization anyway, that they're going to hopefully use part of the chem pier. Is this looking at, will this part of the project be looking at removing half that pier still, or saving? Because there's a bit of a modification in that conversation, right?
So that concern, the International Sailing Center, is definitely part of the conversation. What we're looking at doing is rather simply is creating space kind of across that plane for a 400 by 100 foot barge. Just for reference, Warehouse 2 here is about 300 feet long and 150 feet wide. So you can see a barge fitting in there is pretty large. But I would just say, Commissioner, that for these barge plans to work out, not all of the chemical pier needs to be removed.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Any other questions, Commissioner? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. That passes 3-0. Our next item, item number 2, is still with facilities. If you could please read it, Lindsay.
A motion to authorize the executive director to execute amendment number 3 to the professional services agreement with Moffett and Nickel to perform design, engineering, and bid support services for the Bellingham Shipping Terminal and former Georgia Pacific Pier Condition Survey and BST Pier Repair Project in the amount of $83,353 for a total authorized contract amount of $258,003.
Thank you, Lindsay. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Norman Gilbert, Project Engineer. Again, we're at the shipping terminal, same place that Adam was just speaking about. And essentially, this PSA amendment is to capture a window of opportunity that we've identified to do some major maintenance repair work at the shipping terminal, predominantly in berth 2, which is the light blue color there, where the Horizon Fairbanks is tied up currently. That vessel will be shifted during the Whatcom Waterway work, which would open up that area for this work to happen. But we aren't only focusing on berth 2, it's also in the global aspect of the shipping terminal, which came out of our just completed condition survey of the facility. This is a fast-track design, so essentially we've got a final condition assessment, and in approximately a duration of a month, we're looking to get from a zero design to a bid level, ready-to-go project. And then this scope also includes addressing some repairs from the Horizon Fairbanks incident in December of 2014. Are there any questions?
What's the status on that damage repair on the ship?
Damage on the ship, I'm not aware of the status on that. The damage to the facility, we have an assessment report that's currently in a draft version that's getting QC'd at Moffett Nickel, and we should be receiving that here in the next few weeks.
Nothing on the ship, though. I was just curious.
I'm not aware of anything on the ship.
Do you have any questions, Mike? No. No other questions, Commissioner? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Commissioners.
Passes 3-0. Next item is in real estate. If you could please read it, Lindsay. Long one.
Letter A, a motion by the Commission to approve the following documents. Number 1, consent to assignment of lease, trademark licensing agreement, and development design agreement from Bellwether Gate LLC to Kohanam Bellwether LLC, Building A. Number 2, consent to assignment of lease, trademark licensing agreement, and development design agreement from Bellwether Gate B LLC to Kohanam Bellwether B LLC, Building B. Number 3, consent to assignment of lease, trademark licensing agreement, and development design agreement from Bellwether Gate C LLC to Kohanam Bellwether C LLC, Building C. Number 4, consent to assignment of lease, trademark licensing agreement, and development design agreement from Bellwether Gate D LLC to Kohanam Bellwether D LLC, Parcel D1. Number 5, Fourth Amendment to amended and restated capital ground lease between the Port of Bellingham and Kohanam Bellwether D LLC, Parcel D1. And number 6, Fifth Amendment to the development design agreement between Port of Bellingham and Kohanam Bellwether D LLC. Letter B, a motion by the Commission to authorize the Executive Director to execute the following documents in connection with the closing of this transaction and any other necessary documents to close. Number 1, Ground Lesser's Estoppel Certificate, Wells Fargo Bank, National Association, Building A. Number 2, Notice of Purchase Money Leasehold Mortgage, First Financial Northwest Bank, Building B. And number 3, Notice of Purchase Money Leasehold Mortgage, First Financial Northwest Bank, Building C.
Great. Thank you very much, Lindsay. Good afternoon, Commissioners. We are very, very excited about this transaction in front of you today. We have had a lot of work by Catherine Dietz of Frank Schmelik's office and Judy Harvey putting this transaction together, and Judy Harvey will actually have the staff report. But I am most excited to introduce to you the Kohanums who are with us today. And I'm going to start with the lovely lady sitting next to Mr. Jensen, Portalee Kohanum. She is the CEO of the corporation. Margaret Amos, the Chief Operating Officer, is sitting next to her. David Kohanum, who is actually Portalee's son, and he is the Director of Development. And then next to him is Eric Gunther. Eric Gunther is the principal of Glacier Financial. And he has been a friend of the ports for probably 10 or 15 years, and he has actually brokered this deal that is in front of you today. And I will tell you that it is upwards of a $30 million deal for the transfer from Mr. Ebenall of Bellwether Gate to the Kohanums. It has not closed. The transaction is expected to close at the end of September. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Judy Harvey, and I welcome the Kohanums to our meeting today.
Thank you, Shirley. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Judy Harvey, Real Estate Representative. Okay, so we are assigning 4 leases today. They are for Building A at Bellwether, Building B at Bellwether, Building C at Bellwether, and then Parcel D, along with the associated documents. The assignment will be effective upon closing, and the following must occur before or at closing. All outstanding amounts from Bellwether Gate paid in full to the Port of Bellingham. Portalee Kohanum assigning all right, title, and interest directly or indirectly of the leases to each respective Kohanum Bellwether LLC entity through an IRC 1031 tax-deferred intermediary. The Fourth Amendment to the lease for Parcel D being executed, and finally the Kohanum's extension fee for Building D being paid pursuant to the Fourth Amendment. If any of these 4 actions do not occur, the assignments are null and void. Moving along to the Fourth Amendment for Parcel D, that extends the construction commencement of Building D to the earlier of the date when the Kohanums obtained the appropriate permits from the City of Bellingham to construct Building D, but no later than 1 calendar year after closing. It also extends other applicable dates related to the construction of Building D. As partial consideration for the extension, Kohanum will pay an extension fee of $100,000, with $30,000 being non-refundable. Provided that each extension date is met, $70,000 of the $100,000 will be applied to the base rent. However, if any extension is not met, the $70,000 is retained in addition to the $30,000 as the extension fee, and the base rent of $866,124 will be payable. With regard to Parcel D and Building D, the Kohanums have met preliminary with Grinstead and Wagner Architects and are in a very, very preliminary process of exploring a 3-story building with mixed use on the first floor and residential on the second and third floors. Shifting to the Fifth Amendment to the Design Development Agreement, this amendment recognizes the extended dates for Building D. And all of these documents do require that closing occurs on or before October 23rd. In the event the closing does not occur by that date, all these documents are null and void.
Judy, could I interrupt for a minute? Could you, for the folks watching on video, could you say what's in each of these locations now so people understand exactly what it is, please?
You betcha. Thank you. In Building A, there is Giuseppe's Restaurant. It's about 86,000 square feet. There's also Paul Resor's Sanitary Service Company. There's some executive offices. In Building B, that is about 13,000 square feet. Homeland Security is in there. Jamie's Life Coach is in there. In Building C, Wells Fargo and Uptown Arts. And then, of course, Building D site where the new building will be constructed.
Thank you.
And with regard to the lender documents for this transaction, we have the ground leaser's estoppel certificate with Wells Fargo, and that's for Building A. And then we also have the notice of purchase money leasehold with First Financial Northwest Bank for Building B and C. And as Shirley mentioned, we are really excited about this transaction and the new energy that the Cohanims will be bringing to Bellwether on the Bay. Staff is recommending approval of this transaction. And does the commission have any questions or comments?
Thank you very much, Judy. Any comments or questions, Mike?
No, the only, I guess I should say yes. I think too many people start their sentences with no and then they agree, so my apologies. Yeah, welcome, and this is a big deal, so it's going to be great to have you folks here, and I'm sure we'll get to catch up with you more in the future, but be kind of nice, and seems like Building D is going to happen sometime soon, so I think we're all pretty excited about that, so thank you for what you're doing.
Welcome, that's for sure. We're very excited about all of this coming up, and it's so soon, and it's nice to get right on with it. And to have you folks be here and part of Bellingham is going to be a real special.
I also would like to welcome you and thank you for being here today, and thank you for getting this on the fast track and accomplishing what you have in short order, and welcome. So any other comments?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Maybe
That
they-
passes 3-0.
Maybe they'd like to say something. Would they?
Yes, would anyone from your group like to speak or say anything? Yeah, and please come to the mic because it's recorded on the video, and it.
Hi there, how you doing? I'm David Cohanum. I'm Porter's son. I've been working in the company and
Can you
projects
speak
like
into
this.
the mic a little?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm David Cohanum. I'm Lee's son. I've been working in the company for the last 15, 20 years doing exactly this kind of work. We're natives of Seattle, and Bellingham feels a lot like Seattle that I grew up in. So it's really nice for us to be able to come out here, and it feels very much home to us, and we'd like this to be an extension of our home, and we're looking forward to meeting all of you and working with the good folk in the city. We've done some nice work in the past. I think Rob has come out to see the Palladian apartment build, or the Palladian hotel that we built. Shirley also came. We didn't have a chance. I don't think we're doing a hotel this time around, but we're looking forward to playing in your garden, and thank you very much for having us.
Do you or any of your principals plan to move to the community? Or you?
Mom keeps threatening to. If Giuseppe keeps up his work and we have weather like we've been having, I may have no choice but to let her go. But not at this time.
Well, welcome and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, with that, we have new business. Gentlemen, anything in new business?
Nothing
Commissioner?
today. No.
Commissioner?
No?
I should say, though, before we go,
No, and then yes again.
Well-
There, we did it again.
What are you saying, yes or no, Mike?
I guess before you guys go, we did talk about MACA, and we've been talking about it for last week. So I did talk to Jeff Morris, and I'm hopefully get a response from him maybe today, I hope. But it'd be worthwhile to start making phone calls and see if we can't get a little push so that we don't lose our money on that.
You bet. I agree. Did you have anything under new business?
No, not really, no.
I had a couple. One, note that the MAC meeting changed from September 8th to September 22nd for any of those. It was scheduled for the 8th, and it's moved to the 22nd. And I would like somebody to comment. I get a lot of questions from the community on what's going on with Harcourt. When are we going to see something at the granary? And we got some nice pictures down there and some signs. But I was just wondering if someone from the staff or Rob or someone could comment on where we are with Harcourt at this point.
I'd be happy to give you a quick update here. Harcourt has until 2019 to complete the building. That being said, they're underway on the design process right now. They have retained an architect. The architect has actually rented space from the Port of Bellingham. He's very familiar with Harcourt. He's done work with them in the past. He worked on the Titanic quarters in Belfast. His name's John Reed. I believe you all have met him as well. He is expecting to go into the city office for permits in the coming months. He's already had several meetings with both Tara and Steve Sundin from the city going over his plans, and he's pushing for a couple variances that need to be sorted out. And as soon as they figure all that out, he will be submitting an application for a permit. So I suspect, even though the deadline is 2019 for the completion of that building, I think you'll see it quite a bit sooner than that.
Okay. Thank you. Well, hearing no other business before this body, we're adjourned.